Hey, I just wanted to make this video for anyone who's maybe dealing with suicidal ideation or depression and share some of my story and some of the things that I have learned in hopes of, like, for anyone who's going through anything similar, of just giving you some hope and something to just like kind of hold on to. I think for me, the biggest thing that I had to learn was that it is possible to feel those feelings and be able to let them subside. And maybe that doesn't make sense, but if you thought the way that I did, hopefully that is something that you can maybe just hold on to and learn, is like those feelings do pass. I was very young when they first came, so in my rationality, like, I really did feel like I had to act out, even if it wasn't suicidal ideation. I felt like I had to act out my self-harm desires in order to make them go away. And I learned that's not true, and that I don't need to do that. And then with just like depression along with suicide, I have spent times where I am just really honestly like physically in pain, like on the floor, can't move, because the depression and the longing just not be here anymore gets so strong. But the thing is something that I have learned is that even in those moments, Christ is still with me, and he is still holding on tightly to me. And I think like the church can be really quick to condemn depression, but I just want to share with you that, like, I have seen in my experience that it doesn't have to be one or the other. I think people are really quick to share their recovery stories, but they don't necessarily share the process, or like share while they're still in it or while they're still struggling. And for me, I really don't know if I will ever get to the point where I don't struggle with at least the thoughts and the desires that just come with depression and struggling with suicidal ideation. But I do know that, like, I do get better, and I can look back and see ways that I've learned to cope better, and ways that I have felt better, not felt so depressed. But I guess the number one thing that I just want to share with you is it is possible to be extremely depressed and to be at that point where you are like unable to move, unable to really do anything, just because you are so weighed down by all of the overwhelming feelings that you're having, and still feel the Father's arms. I remember several times, one time comes back to my mind in particularly, it was like 2 years ago, and I was literally just laying there, and it'd been a day of like where I'd literally fall into my feet several times because I was in so much pain, just depression wise, and not wanting to, like, just feeling like I couldn't go on, and just so weighed down by all of that. And literally the only thing that I could do, like, I could not get up, and the only thing that I could do was whisper Jesus. And in that moment, like, I felt him there, but like it didn't make the depression feelings go away, but I 100% knew that he was sitting there with me. And so I guess I just want to encourage you, like, if you've been buying into the lie, or you believe that like it's not possible to be a Christian, or you're struggling, like you can't be a strong Christian and still deal with depression, that's just not true. And it's just my own personal experience. I've seen time and time again where when I am at my breaking point, the Lord meets me there, and he doesn't always make those feelings go away. Sometimes he just sits there with me and holds me. And so I guess my prayer for you is that you can experience that too, that you can just know the loving arms of the Father even in your deepest and darkest moments. And I do just pray that the Lord will bring Christians into your life who can speak truth, and that won't condemn you, and that won't shame you for something that you are struggling with, that you don't deserve to feel any guilt for that. Yeah, just know, I think it's really easy to think that you can't have joy in Christ and still struggle with depression, and that is not true. But I do encourage you to cling to the joy that we have in Christ, and know that it is possible to feel two feelings at once. I think that's a really hard concept, but it is one, and something that I've studied and learned. But it is possible to be extremely depressed and still feel the joy of Christ. So I'm just praying that even at your hardest, darkest moments, that you will just be able to feel his arms, and that you can cling to the truth that he is going to walk you through this, and that his joy is yours, and that you don't have to be all put together in order to be loved, in order to be someone who he is growing. So that's all.